Alright, what's going on, everybody? We are live for the Big Ten championship game between Indiana and Ohio State. The game is just about to kick off. They're lined up. Indiana's going to get the ball first. But welcome to the stream, everybody. We got the Big Ten championship game, number 1 versus number 2. The only two undefeated teams in college football. And it should be a great game. But the kick is away, and off we go in the Big Ten championship game. And it is a touchback as it goes through the end zone. And Fernando Mendoza and the Indiana offense will take over at the 25-yard line. But welcome to the stream, everybody. Let me pull up the chat and put out a poll. But Mendoza and the Indiana offense onto the field for the first possession of this game. Going to be a very interesting matchup to watch. The second highest scoring offense against the best scoring defense. Alright, there's the poll. Be sure to vote on that. First play from scrimmage is Mendoza pass, and that pass can be caught by Elijah Surratt near the first down marker. And he's chopped down by Caleb Downs after getting about 9. But welcome to the stream, everybody. Oh no. Mendoza's hurt. Oh no. Hopefully he's okay. Ooh. Took a big hit. There was no flag thrown for roughing the passer. Oh man, that is a big hit. It's a clean hit, but man, hopefully he's okay. Mendoza's down on the field, lying face down. Man, hopefully he's okay. I was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, one of the best players in the country, might win the Heisman. Man, hopefully Fernando Mendoza's okay. But it'll be his younger brother, Alberto Mendoza, coming into the game to replace him. Who's thrown 5 touchdowns to 1 interception on the season. And hopefully he's okay. I mean, that is a big hit. But Mendoza will run off the field. I was hopeful he's okay. He looks okay, but they're probably going to want to check him for like a concussion and stuff like that. But Alberto Mendoza, Fernando's younger brother, into the game at quarterback. And it's a 2nd and 1 for Indiana. So Mendoza in shotgun, the back to his left. And they're going to hand this off here. And maybe a yard, and he'll get the first down, but not much space. Oh, Fernando Mendoza's coming back in. Wow. Mendoza back into the game, replacing Mendoza. Probably not too often you see that, with two guys replacing each other with the same name. But glad to see he's okay. So Fernando Mendoza back into the game at quarterback. And Indiana's got a 1st and 10 to the 35-yard line. Play clock winding down. And they'll just get the snap off. Here's another handoff up the middle. And again, not much space. Just 2, maybe 3 yards. Obviously, this is an elite Ohio State defense. They did a great job stopping the Michigan run game last week, which has been something they've struggled to do in recent years. But they were able to do that last week. And it is very hard to run the ball against this defense. Pretty hard to throw against them, too. A 3rd straight run play for Roman Hemby. And again, maybe 3 yards. Sonny Styles makes the play defensively. But it's 3rd and 4 here for Indiana. From their own 41-yard line, Mendoza in shotgun back to his left. Mendoza going to look to throw. Mendoza has time. Mendoza now going to roll to his left. Mendoza on the run. And he's going to flip one for a first down. That pass is going to be caught near the 50-yard line. They're going to spot at the Ohio State 49. Nice play by Fernando Mendoza. Able to get outside the pocket, buy some time. And he puts the defender in a tough spot. I mean, he has to make a decision whether he wants to attack the quarterback or keep playing the defender. And obviously he chooses to attack the football. So Mendoza just flips it right over his head. So 1st and 10 from the 49. Mendoza in shotgun. And look to throw here. Mendoza, again, plenty of time. Going to want one go deep down the field. That pass incomplete. Looking for Omar Cooper, who had a step on the defense. But it was underthrown by Fernando Mendoza. Uh-oh, now Omar Cooper comes up limping. This has not been a great start injury-wise for Indiana. Obviously, Mendoza ends up being okay. Hopefully, Cooper's okay. Although he did come up limping. So 2nd and 10 from the 49. They go back to the ground here. And again, not much. Maybe 2 yards. Something that has looked good for the Indiana offense has been pass protection. They've given Mendoza time when he has thrown. So it's 3rd and 7 here for Indiana. Mendoza in shotgun. And a look to throw here. Ohio State brings 3. They have a spy on Mendoza. And Mendoza gets pressured and dropped for a sack. Mendoza taken down back at the 48-yard line. And Ohio State's defense is going to force a punt on the opening possession. If you guys can hear the dog barking, sorry about that. I don't know if you can. I know I can, but I don't know if the mic picks it up. I think it does, but I'm not completely sure. But Indiana will punt on their first possession, and the punt is away, fair catch at the 11-yard line. And that is where Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense will take over. Yeah, I think you can hear the dog barking. But Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense will take over for their first possession in this game. Hold on 1 second. Just trying to rearrange something real quick. But be sure to vote in the poll if you guys have not already done so. Hold on 1 second. Alright, but we wait for them to come back from commercial. Julian Sayin, the Ohio State offense, they'll take over for their first possession. Obviously, Julian Sayin, also a Heisman contender. A lot of people think the winner of this game, the quarterback, should win the Heisman. I disagree. I still think it should be Jeremiah Love, but I mean, the winner of this game, if one specific quarterback puts up great numbers, they definitely have a case. That's for sure. But Julian Sayin averaging 255 yards per game, 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But Sayin and the Ohio State offense on the field, their first possession here in this game. So they take over at their own about 12-yard line. So Sayin in shotgun back to his left. That's Bo Jackson. And Sayin to throw quickly. That pass can be caught by Jeremiah Smith. And Jeremiah Smith going to fight through some contact and gain about 13 on the first play from scrimmage. A nice start for the Ohio State offense. And a very aggressive first down point from the ref. So 1st and 10 from the 25. Sayin in shotgun. Jackson to his right. Play action again here. Sayin going to get pressured. Rolls to the right. And Sayin throws one back across the field. And just out of bounds. I'm not sure why he would throw it that way. And not just the way he's going. But whatever works, I guess. And it brings up 2nd and 10. So it's 2nd and 10 for Ohio State. On their own 25-yard line. Sayin in shotgun with Jackson one up to his right. And they're going to hand it off for the first time. Bo Jackson will pick up 3, maybe 4 on the play. And it brings up 3rd down for Ohio State. So it's 3rd down and 6. Ohio State, the second best 3rd down team in college football, converting 56.2%. So Sayin in shotgun back to his left from their own 29-yard line. Play clock winding down here. Indiana brings 4. Sayin throws over the middle of that pass. Intercepted! Picked off by Indiana! And returned to the 24-yard line. Julian Sayin gets picked off. And Indiana set up with great field position at the 23-yard line. Wow. Very similar to last week. Julian Sayin throws a pick on their first drive. And Indiana set up with great field position. Wow, that is a huge play by the Indiana defense. Sayin has only thrown 5 receptions all year. This one gets picked off. And Indiana's got the offense on the field at the 23-yard line. This is a big opportunity right here, because you can't really score much against this Ohio State defense. If you can steal 7 right here, that could be big. They start this drive with a run play for maybe a yard. Not much. We have seen Indiana try to run the football. Not very effectively, but they've tried to do it. Ohio State allowing 81.7 rushing yards per game, 4th best in the FBS. So 2nd and 9 here. Mendoza in shotgun with the back one to his right. And Mendoza going to look to throw. Throw the outside. That pass caught by Surratt for a gain of 9 and a first down for Indiana. Actually, they're going to give him 10. Elijah Surratt missed a few games mid-season for Indiana due to, I believe, a hamstring injury, but he's back healthy. Definitely a good thing. One of the better receivers in the country. So a 1st and 10 here from the 11-yard line. They motion a tight end across the formation. Mendoza looks to throw. Pump fakes, now rolls to his right. Mendoza on the run. Mendoza just going to throw it away. It brings up 2nd and 10. Fernando Mendoza 3 of 5 for 30 yards. It was a 2nd and 10. 7:40 to go in the opening quarter. So from the 11-yard line, Mendoza in shotgun. And he'll hand it off here. Roman Hemby to the right side or left side. And again, not much space. Maybe a yard. Looks like they're going to mark him right at the line of scrimmage. And I mean, this is an Indiana run game that is very good. Over 200 rushing yards a game. I think they're near 225. But obviously, the Ohio State run defense is 4th best in the country. So 3rd and 10 here. Ball on the 11. Indiana, the best 3rd down team in the country, 56%. Brings Surratt in motion. Mendoza looks to throw. Has time. Mendoza has it tipped at the line, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Elijah Surratt underneath, and it brings up 4th down. Caden Curry's been very active so far. He got a hand on that one. So here's a 29-yard field goal for Indiana. Their kicker has not missed on the year. He's 13 for 13. And this field goal is good. Make it 14 for 14 on the season. And Indiana gets the first points of the Big Ten championship game. So they're able to get 3 off the turnover, which is definitely something because points are so hard to come by against the Ohio State defense, but decent right there. By the way, Duke is taking the early lead over Virginia 7-0. That is such an interesting one to watch. Duke and Virginia. Obviously, if Virginia wins there, they're in the playoff. If Duke wins, James Madison is in the playoff. But Duke leading 7-0 right now. With 5:22 to go in the first quarter there. But here we got Indiana leading 3-0 with 6:51 to go. And this is going to have to be a game for Fernando Mendoza. He throws the ball a lot. I mean, Indiana, they've tried to get the run game going. And, I mean, you can't totally abandon the run, but if Indiana's going to have a lot of offensive success, they're going to need to throw the football a lot in this game. Because, I mean, you just cannot run the ball against Ohio State. And right now, Indiana has 6 carries for 6 yards. They're averaging 1 yard per carry. But a 3-0 Indiana lead. Ohio State will get the ball back. A similar start this week and last week for Ohio State. Obviously, last week Michigan went down, kicked a field goal, and then Sayan again threw an early pick, and they were able to hold him to 3. And then Ohio State really walked in and just dominated the rest of the game. But Indiana is also a lot better than Michigan. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Ohio State will get the ball for their second possession. Obviously, this is still a big game for the playoff race. I mean, it's number 1 versus number 2. That's always going to be a big game, although. both these teams likely got biased. The winner of this game is going to get the top seed. The loser is probably just going to get, like, the Georgia one, maybe the 3 seed. I can honestly see them staying at 2. If it's Indiana, or if it's Indiana staying at 2. Or if Ohio State was, I could see them just falling a spot, if it's close. And then obviously you got the whole Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami discussion, especially after Alabama's bad loss today against Georgia. But the kick is away here for Indiana, and it goes into the end zone and will be a touchback, and brought out to the 25. So Julian Sayin and the Ohio State offense back onto the field. Sayin last week, after the interception against Michigan, he went 19 of 24 for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let's see if he bounces back the same way. So Sayin in shotgun back to his left. Bring the tight end in motion. And Sayin, quick throw out to Jeremiah Smith. Very similar start. Little RPO. And a quick throw to Jeremiah Smith. The exact same way they started the last drive. Obviously, last drive was a hitch. This time it's an out route. D'Angelo Pons, the guy matched up against Jeremiah Smith, is 5'9", 173 pounds. Jeremiah Smith is 6'3", 223. That is a huge difference. Sayin gets pressured very quickly here, rolls to his left, and throws to the outside. Again caught by Carnell Tate. Or not again caught, but caught by Carnell Tate for his first catch and a first down. Gained about 6 yards for Ohio State. Nice catch along the sideline right there. So it brings up a 1st and 10 from the 37. Sayin in shotgun, Jackson to his left. And Sayin going to look to throw. Sayin gets pressured. Throws over the middle of that pass. Is caught by Jeremiah Smith near midfield. He's forced all the way back to about the 45. Let's see where they spot this. Should be good for a first down. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Alright, I got Ohio State 27-17. How about you? So 1st and 10 from the 49. They'll go to the ground here with Bo Jackson. Got a lot of space. And Jackson going to pick up about 6 yards. Getting it to the Indiana 45-yard line. Get Ohio State 24-21. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I definitely think this game is going to be pretty close. Another handoff, and Jackson swallowed up for a loss. 3 Indiana defenders in the backfield. And a loss of a yard, maybe 2 on the play. So it brings up a 3rd and 5. Probably 4-down territory for Ohio State, depending on how much you get. Ball's actually spotted in the 46. But Sayin in shotgun, C.J. Donaldson is the back for Ohio State. Indiana brings 4. Sayin has time. Plenty of it. Now time runs out, and Sayin gets sacked. Sayin sacked back at midfield, and the Indiana defense is going to force a punt here from Ohio State. He had time. Plenty of time to throw the ball, but just nowhere to go on the back end. Actually, never mind. He had a receiver wide open, just never saw him. But it's going to be a punt here for Ohio State. They try to pin Indiana back deep. And it's fair caught at the 11-yard line. But Indiana, the defense looks pretty good. I mean, they got 2 stops. They still lead 3-0 after 2 possessions for both teams. So a pretty decent start for Indiana. Hold on 1 second. But wait for them to come back from commercial. A 3-0 Indiana lead. That drive definitely better for Ohio State. Obviously, they don't turn the ball over, but Indiana's defense still able to force a punt. And Indiana takes over at the 11-yard line with 3:07 to go in the first quarter. Virginia Duke is still 7-0 Duke. Virginia just missed a 45-yard field goal. Definitely not the ideal way to start the game if you're Indiana. But we wait for them to come back from commercial break. Again, Indiana getting the ball back on their own 11-yard line after the defense forces a punt. Alright. Now they're back from commercial. We got 3:07 to go in the first quarter. And Indiana with the football up by 3. So Mendoza in the pistol. Roman Hemby is behind him. Mendoza, quick throw. That pass off the hands of the intended receiver. And incomplete. Charlie Becker, the intended receiver. So Omar Cooper Jr. currently questionable to return to this game with a lower body injury. We saw him get hurt on the opening drive, and he has not been in the game since. Mendoza, hands off. Hemby's actually got some space here and going to pick up about 7 yards, which is a great run, considering the defense you're facing. Best run of the day by a lot for Indiana. They actually give Hemby 8 there on the carry. In his first year with Indiana. Was with Merle in the past few years. So 3rd and short from their own 19. Mendoza in shotgun. Gonna look to throw. It's a quarterback run. Mendoza gets a nice block from Hemby. He's got a first down. And Mendoza dragged down to the 28-yard line. A nice run there for Fernando Mendoza and a first down for Indiana. A really nice block there for Roman Hemby. Allowed Mendoza to get that first down. So Mendoza in shotgun back to his left. From the 29. Bring the tight end across the formation. And throw to the outside. Oh, it's tipped up in the air and picked off. That was a weird interception. They're trying to set up the screen for Elijah Surratt. But he gets hit by the defender. It bounces off one of them. Oh no, it bounces off the back of the blocker who's out there. And completely misses his assignment. And then it got picked off the deflection. I thought it was a weird interception. But now the Ohio State offense with a short field after the interception. Both teams with turnovers. Yeah, interception thrown by each team. I mean, this one you can't really put on Fernando Mendoza, but still. Both teams with a turnover. Whoever wins this game will win the Heisman. That seems to be the way it's going, but I mean, with how this game has started, each quarterback throwing a pick. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily a guarantee. But I mean, it definitely seems like that could be the case, but I mean, I just don't love either of these quarterbacks for Heisman. Like, I think Jeremiah Love should win the Heisman. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but like, I genuinely think Jeremiah Love should win the Heisman because, yes, Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sayin, even Diego Pavia have had great years, but they're nowhere close to the years that some of the other quarterbacks have had in past Heisman winning seasons. And I mean, yeah, Jeremiah Love probably hurt his case last week because he only ran for like 60 yards and a touchdown because he got hurt. But I mean, Sayin didn't put up insane numbers last week. Mendoza was pretty bad last week, threw for like 115 yards. So I mean, I would like to see Jeremiah Love. I think he's got the 4th best odds right now. But that's who I'd like to see win the Heisman. Let's see. Let me pull up the Heisman odds. I think it's Mendoza, Pavia, Sayin, then Jeremiah Love. Yeah. But Jeremiah Love, pretty much a long shot compared to the top 3. He's at plus 5,000 compared to the others. I don't know about Pavia. Yeah, I mean, I just said him because he's got the hype around him, and he's got the good odds right now. But I mean, I don't really think he should have won the Heisman. Like, great player, but Heisman level, no. Like, I think that's the case with all 3 of these quarterbacks right now that are currently in the conversation. But a 1st and 10 here. Ohio State with the ball on the 25-yard line. Flag comes down. And Bo Jackson stumbles his way to the 17-yard line for a gain of 8, but probably going to come back. No, this is actually going to be a face mask going against Indiana. Oh, yeah, that is a face mask. No, I love these ref cams. Getting to see exactly what they see. Those are such a nice addition. But a first and goal here for Ohio State after the penalty. So Sayin under center. Play clock winding down. It's at 3. And they'll get the play off. They'll hand it off. Bo Jackson is going to get taken down for a loss. Lost about 2, maybe 3 on the play. Flag is down as well. This is probably going to be some kind of illegal formation, offside, something like that. Because it came in right at the snap. This is offsides. Oh yeah, definitely. Just something that can't be happening if you're Indiana. Really any team, but especially when you're playing a team as good as Ohio State. So it stays first and goal. Now from the 4-yard line. The 5-yard penalty. So Sayin in shotgun. Play action. Sayin. Wow. Talk about throwing it away. They were trying to hit Jeremiah Smith in the back of the end zone. He's matched up with D'Angelo Pons, which makes a lot of sense considering he's got a 5-inch height advantage. Like 50-pound advantage. But, I mean, good coverage right there, and Julian Sayin ends up throwing like 5 rows deep into the crowd. But a second and goal here. Sayin under center. They bring Jeremiah Smith in motion, and they hand it off. No, we got play blown dead. A flag comes down, and it's a false start going against Ohio State. They actually caught on Bo Jackson, the running back. So it's second and goal. So Sayin in shotgun. Bo Jackson is the back, line to his right. Ball on the Indiana 9. Sayin will look to throw. Sayin dancing around, rolling to his right. Sayin on the run, throws back to the end zone, wide open. Call for a touchdown, Carnell Tate. And Ohio State gets on the board and they take the lead. Carnell Tate wide open in the back of the end zone. And Ohio's... Oh, I just realized never changed the ball marker. But Ohio State on the board and they take the lead. With 46 seconds left in the first quarter. And how does Carnell Tate get this wide open? So the linebacker goes to attack Julian Sayin, and the other defensive back there steps up and realizes there's nobody behind him, or doesn't think there's anybody behind him. And at the extra point is good. So 7-3, Ohio State leads Indiana, and both teams have to get points off the turnover, but obviously the difference, Ohio State a touchdown, Indiana field goal. And now 46 seconds left in the first quarter. Carnell Tate with his 9th touchdown catch of the year. Had one last week against Michigan as well. No, it's actually his 4th consecutive game with a touchdown. I just looked. I didn't see him have a touchdown in 4 consecutive games. Did I completely miss that? Oh, yeah, 4 consecutive games, because this is counting against Purdue when he didn't play. I don't know why I would count that. but 4 consecutive games with a touchdown for Carnell Tate. And the kickoff here from Jaden Fielding is a touchback, and Indiana will take over the 25. So Indiana will get the football back. Obviously, last drive through the interception. But 46 seconds left in the first quarter, a 7-3 lead for Ohio State. So Mendoza in shotgun, back to his left. Mendoza looks to throw, plenty of time. Mendoza launches one deep down the field, and that pass is going to be broken up. Wanted Becker almost caught that, actually. And now there's a flag down on the field. Well, that was a big throw from Mendoza. He threw that a long way. And it's going to be pass interference going against Ohio State. Yeah, I could get it. I mean, it ends up getting knocked away, but... there is definitely contact before the ball gets there, though. Not the biggest fan of it, but I understand it. Here's a handoff, Black left side, lots of space, inside Ohio State territory, down the sideline. Black knocked it out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. A big run there for Indiana. Well, what a run. They just miss the big pass play, and then they get a big run play. Wow, that is a huge hole for Black to run through. Nice play right there for the Indiana offense. And that could bring us to the second quarter. And nope, they're going to run one more play. It's another run, and Black this time taking down for about a yard. But that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Ohio State leading Indiana 7-3. And Indiana with the football inside Ohio State territory. What am I doing? Inside Ohio State territory. Yeah, that was a great run. But a very tightly contested first quarter. Obviously 7-3. And by the way, Duke and Virginia now tied up at 7. They're about 45 seconds into the second quarter. We have Virginia Duke tied at 7. Ohio State leads Indiana 7-3. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. So who do you think will get in after the Bama loss? That is a great question. And I've been thinking about that a lot. Obviously, I'm feeling a lot better about Notre Dame right now. Was not feeling great about them coming into the game, or into the day. But BYU lost by a lot. They're going to drop. Alabama lost by enough. I mean, they lost by 21 points, and they were never really in the game. they're going to drop for sure. The question now becomes, I think Notre Dame is in for sure. But the question becomes Miami or Alabama for that last spot. I think Miami. I think this loss should knock Alabama out. Now, I know they don't like to penalize teams for losing the conference championship game, but, I mean, Alabama, they got blown out. And that's also their third loss of the year. I think it should be Miami over Alabama. You say Notre Dame and Miami. I'd agree. I just find it hilarious. Notre Dame and Miami fans have been going at it on Twitter for like the last month, and then we're both going to make the playoffs. It's just so funny. And now, Bama should be left out for sure. I agree. I mean, if they lost a close game today, I could see them sticking as the 10th seed. But with how they lost, I don't see it. And I think the committee even tried to avoid this problem by moving them up to 9 last week for pretty much no reason. But now, because of how they lost, they're going to fall behind Notre Dame for sure. BYU lost, they're going to fall. And Miami was 12, they're going to jump above BYU. I think we should see Notre Dame 9, Miami 10, and Alabama as the first team out as 11. And that would also be back-to-back years where Alabama was the first team out of the college football playoff. But we got a 2nd and 9 here for Indiana as we start the second quarter. Mendoza in shotgun back to his left. Mendoza hands off. Roman Hemby has some space. And he'll gain about 3 yards. So a 3rd and 6 here for Indiana. For Indiana. Thought I confused the two teams for a second. Indiana 2 of 4 on 3rd down. Mendoza in shotgun back to his right. Mendoza looks to throw. Has time. Mendoza now trying to roll out. Steps right into pressure. Mendoza now steps up and gets sacked. But it's a sack for the Ohio State defense. I mean, Mendoza has time here. And then he decides to escape the pocket. And just goes right into a defender. And that pretty much wrecks the play. But, I mean, this is great blocking up front. Mendoza's got plenty of time. The left tackle is able to watch the edge rusher around the corner. And Mendoza goes right into him. But also great coverage from Ohio State on the back end. So pretty much a coverage sack right there. And here is a 40-yard field goal try for Indiana. Cut it to a 1-point game. And, oh boy, he missed it. The kick is no good. He misses it wide, just barely. Wide left. It's his first miss of the year. And it will stay 7-3. Wow. That didn't miss by much. But it stays 7-3. And Ohio State with the football. Duke, Virginia still 7-7. Oh boy, let's see this. I just got this notification. Kalen DeBoer makes his case for the college football playoff after the loss. Let's see. So he says, if this game applies to and takes away from our resume, I don't think that's right. Why not? I mean, I do get the argument that people make with if you play an extra game, you shouldn't get penalized for it. But if you get rewarded for playing it, you should get penalized for playing it. So, like, I mean, obviously you shouldn't get penalized as much because you're playing against a great team. And if you lose, you probably shouldn't really go down that much. Although, obviously, if you got blown out, you should fall a little bit. But I mean, I get the argument, but if you're getting rewarded for playing it, you got to get punished for playing it as well. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the committee does tomorrow. But very interesting with Alabama. And I also saw in that article it said Ty Simpson not really concerned about missing the playoff, although probably should be. Because I don't really think Alabama's in a great spot right now. But it is 7-3 after the first miss of the year for the Indiana kicker. And Ohio State takes over on their own 21-yard line. Sayin, hands off, up the middle for, who is that? I have no idea who that is. He'll gain about 4 up to the 25-yard line. It's West, number 32. So here is a 2nd and 6. Play action here, Sayin. Gonna take a shot. Deep downfield. Wide open receiver is Jeremiah Smith, who makes the catch, makes a man miss, cuts back inside, and he gets tripped up at the 23. Jeremiah Smith gets behind the defense. And a huge play for the Ohio State offense. I'm going to change the score. It's a touchdown. Even though it's not. Oh, wait a minute. We got a flag down, though. Oh, it's going to stand, though. It's against the defense. We got hands to the face. Against the defense, so it's going to be 1st and goal for Ohio State. You got on 15 more. But a huge play for the Ohio State offense. And it's actually not 1st and goal. Sorry, it's on the 11-yard line. So Sayin under center. They go I formation. And a handoff here. Jackson right up the middle for about 2 yards. Brings up 2nd and 8. Could Texas make the playoff? I don't think so. I mean, where were they? Are they right behind Miami at 13 or are they 14? Let's see. Texas. Yeah, they were 13. I don't think so because they would have to jump a lot. So yeah, I would say no. Here's a handoff to the right side. Bo Jackson bounces off defender, stays on his feet. But he's only going to gain about a yard, maybe 2. But you look at Texas right now. They're behind Miami. They're behind Notre Dame. They're behind Alabama. Now, technically, I guess they could jump Alabama. I don't know, though. I mean, it's I just think they needed more chaos last week to have a chance because not enough teams play enough to get penalized this week. Or just teams in general play. Saiyan gets pressured and he gets sacked here. Back at the 12-yard line on third down. And Saiyan gets dropped for a sack. So it's a loss of 4. And Ohio State can be forced to throw for a field goal. Julian Sain's shoe came off. So it'll be a field goal try for Ohio State. Jaden Fielding 15 of 17 on the year, long of 49. This is a 30-yard field goal from the right hash. And Fielding's kick, wow, I thought he missed that for a second. But it is good. I thought he pulled it to the left, but... And it curves back on inside. It is now 10-3. After the field goal is good. So 10:08 to go in the first half, and a 10-3 lead for Ohio State. Ohio State up to 114 yards, almost half their yards. Came on that one play to Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith, 4 catches for 83 yards. Carnell Tate, 2 for 14. And a touchdown. Those are the only 2 guys who've caught the ball for Ohio State. But it is a 10-3 lead. For Ohio State. How did that ball just swerve? Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, because, I mean, it's not like they're playing outside. There's no wind. So I really have no idea. Update on Duke and Virginia. Duke has retaken the lead. It's now 14-7 there. With 6:14 to go in the first half. That would be crazy if Duke wins. And ends up giving James Madison a spot in the playoff. It's also... You've also got James Madison, who are the James Madison Dukes, rooting for a Duke win. Not every day you see something like that. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. It's now 10-3, and we'll see what Indiana can do. On their next possession. Alright, so they're back from commercial. We got 10 minutes left in the first half. And a 7-point Ohio State lead. So Ohio State to kick off. A decent drive for them right there, although it was really just one play. And the penalty got them to field goal range, then not much after that. But it was a good job of the Indiana defense to keep it a field goal game after they got down in the red zone. So the kick is away, and its touchback will be brought up to 25. Oh, Julian Sang got his ankle taped after that sack. I mean, he did get taken down by the ankle, so something to watch. So 1st and 10, Mendoza looks to throw. Throws that is going to be caught for a first down to the, again, about 13 to the 38-yard line. Why isn't Miami playing the ACC game? They lost 2 conference games, Louisville and SMU. Duke and did Duke lose 2 conference games? I know Virginia only lost 1 ACC game, and for Duke, they either lost 2 and had the tiebreaker, or they only lost 1 game in conference. Mendoza gets pressured quickly here, rolling right, and he'll just throw it away. Got a flag down. I think this is going to be a hold. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hold. So it's going to back Indiana up by 10. Caden McDonald got pressured. And then he got pulled down. I mean, I do think he sells that a little bit. If it's just the grab of a shirt right there for the split second, I'm not sure that's a call. But because he falls, it gets called. So he definitely does a good job acting right there. So at 1st and 20, Mendoza delayed handoff to Roman Hemby. And Hemby going to pick up about 6 as he gets to the 35. But now you got me curious. Did they lose 2 conference games or 1? They did lose 2 conference games, but they had the tiebreaker over Miami. Yeah, Miami lost to SMU and Louisville. So 2nd and 13, Mendoza throws the flat caught by Hemby, and he's forced to bounds after a gain of about 5, maybe 6 yards. And brings up 3rd down. But back-to-back nice plays, or solid plays there for Indiana, makes it a much more manageable 3rd down. As it's now 3rd and 6, as after it was 1st and 20. Ohio State shows blitz here. And they're going to bring 5. Mendoza throws it outside. That is going to be caught for a first down at the 46-yard line. Becker makes the catch. And a first down for Indiana. A gain of 11. And a first down for Indiana. So a 1st and 10, 7:35 to go in the first half. From the Ohio State 47-yard line, Mendoza going to hand it off to Black. And he'll get maybe 3. Now more like 2 yards. So it brings up 2nd and 8. And, they had that one good run. But really not much besides that. Actually, I think they had 2 good runs. They had one where they got like 30, and the other they got 8. But otherwise, it's been like consistently less than 3. High snap here. Mendoza throws outside. And that pass going to be caught for getting about 5. And that was like rocket from Mendoza. So it brings up 3rd and 2. Mendoza looks to throw. Mendoza rolling right. on the run, and he's just going to throw it away. So it's going to bring up 4th and 2, and I think you go for this. If you're Indiana. Smart decision by Mendoza right there. Not to take a loss. And let's see the decision. So they will go for it. Indiana is 7 for 15 on 4th down. Mendoza in shotgun back to his right. Man, somebody just jumped off sides, but didn't snap the ball. And now Curt Cignetti calls timeout. Duke lost to Illinois, Georgia Tech, UConn. I think they lost to more than that. I'm pretty sure they're 7 and 5. But yeah, they lost 5 games, I'm pretty sure, but only 2 of them were in conference. So that's how they're still in the championship game. Duke, they lost to Illinois. They lost to Tulane. They lost to Georgia Tech. They lost to UConn. And they lost to Virginia. But only Virginia and Georgia Tech were losses in conference. Illinois, Tulane, and UConn all out of conference losses. So that is how they're still playing for the ACC title. They're actually up 14-7 right now, with 2:55 to go in the first half. But we wait for them to come back from commercial here. We'll have to see what the decision is for Indiana. I go for it. I mean, it's 4th and 2 from about your opponent 45-yard line. Alright, it's actually the 39. Yeah, I'm going for this if I'm Indiana. I don't really think about it twice. Because I don't want to punt here. It's too long to kick a field goal. I'd go for it. And they just had a play, or they just got him to jump on 4th down. But they didn't snap the ball. But, I mean, I don't really know if they had a play call, because they didn't snap it. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. And we'll have to see what the decision is for Curt Cignetti and Indiana. So 4th and 2, Indiana will go for it. They got Mendoza in shotgun, a back one to his right. Mendoza, play action. Mendoza able to get the throw off, but that was a tough throw to make with the defender right in his face. But he's able to get it to the tight end in the flat and move the sticks. Nice play from Fernando Mendoza. That is a nice play. So it brings up a 1st down for Indiana. Ball on the 30. Pick up 9 on the play. Mendoza Gonna hand it off here. Black to the right side. Breaks a tackle and has a nice run. Got 9, close to 10 yards. Really nice run. For Black right there. So it brings up 2nd and 9. Or sorry, 2nd and 1. And another handoff. Black, this time not as much space. We'll fight through initial contact. And it looks like it's going to have enough for a first down. Kalen Black with 6 carries for 53 yards. And now 7 for 54 after that one. A 10-play, 55-yard drive for Indiana. They got the ball inside the red zone in the Ohio State 20. Mendoza in shotgun, bunch of 3 receivers to his left side. Mendoza, quarterback run, but nowhere to go, and he's tripped up in the backfield. I'm not sure if he actually got tripped up by a defender or if he tripped over one of his linemen, but he goes down for a loss of about 2. And it brings up 2nd and 12. Now, I think Mendoza just trips right here. Although he might trip on one of his linemen as well. But he goes down for a 2-yard loss. And it brings up 2nd and 12. So Mendoza looks to throw. Mendoza pressured again and sacked back at the 25-yard line. Mendoza gets taken down. Back-to-back plays. This time he's actually taken down by a defender. And it's 3rd and 15. Caden Curry with the sack. He's been everywhere here in this first half. And now it's 3rd and 15. Mendoza gonna look to throw. And I'll set up the screen here underneath. Trying to get some blockers. Gonna make a man miss. But he's knocked the bounce still well short of a first down. Gain of about 10. Needed 15. So it'll be 4th and about 5. They're going to spot a 4th and 4 for Indiana. And going to be field goal try. Try to make it a 4-point game. Oh, so they missed 1 from 39. This one is from 32. On 4th and 4, and this one's good. So it is 10-6. Ohio State leads. A pretty good drive for Indiana right there. But the drive stalls in the red zone. And they're forced to settle for 3. But I mean, still able to get points. I'll take that anytime you can get them against this defense. So it's now 10-6. Could have been 10-9 if they didn't miss that field goal before. We got 2:47 to go in the first half. And Ohio State can get the football back here. So the kick is away. And I'll take a knee in the end zone, so it'll come out to the 25. But these two teams... Oh, wow, they took it away very quickly. But they're essentially top 3 in, like, points per game or points allowed per game. They're both like top 10 in points scored. It's really good. But they took that away before I could read it all. So 2:47 to go in the first half from their own 25-yard line. Sayin throws outside, caught by Carnell Tate. And Tate going to gain about 12. And a first down. He gets this just high enough. Otherwise, it's deflected by a defender. So 1st and 10. Ohio State doesn't have to run another play before the 2-minute warning. We got 2:07 to go in the first half. And it doesn't look like they're going to run a play. Yeah, they're not going to. So we reached the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Ohio State leading 10-6 here at the 2-minute warning. Hold on 1 second. Just want to check something. Alright, but we wait for them to come back from commercial here at the 2-minute warning. A 4-point lead for Ohio State. Plus they've got the football. Let's check the score of the ACC total game. That game's still 14-7. Duke leads Virginia. But we wait for them to come back from commercial at the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Ohio State with the ball 1st and 10 on their own 36-yard line. So we still wait for them to come back. Ohio State will also get the ball to start the second half. So they're in a good spot right here, if they can potentially put this drive in the end zone. So at 1st and 10 from the 36. Sayin in the pistol. Bo Jackson is behind him. Sayin hands off. Jackson left side. And Jackson taking down inbounds. The clock will run. And he's going to gain 4. So it's 2nd and 6. We got a minute 40 to go. Indiana's got 2 timeouts. Ohio State still has all 3. So a 2nd and 6. Sayin in shotgun back to his left from their own 40. Julian Sayin 7 of 10 for 109 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. They bring Carnell Tate in motion. Sayin gets pressured. Sayin gonna get dropped for a sack. Back at the 38-yard line, minute 14 on the clock. The clock is still running. That is a big sack right there for the Indiana defense. James Peoples just gets absolutely run over in pass protection. And Sayin gets sacked. So nobody uses a timeout. The clock is still running. We got a 3rd and 8, 50 seconds left. So Sayin in shotgun. Gonna look to throw. Sayin throwing outside. That pass incomplete. Overthrew Jeremiah Smith. So now it's 4th and 8 with 32 seconds left. And Indiana's got 2 timeouts. Wonder how aggressive they can get here before halftime. I mean, I definitely understand neither team having using a timeout right there. Because if you're Indiana, you call a timeout, and then Ohio State gets the first down. Then you're just giving them extra time for no reason. And if you're Ohio State, same idea. Then you're giving Indiana time if you don't get the 4th down, like they just did. So 4th and 8, Ohio State gonna punt it away. And we actually got play blown dead. So Ohio State calls timeout. The first timeout they spent here in the first half. So 2 seconds they put back on the clock. 32 seconds. So it's 4th and 8. Ohio State to punt it away. Jonathan Brady back deep to receive for Indiana. So the punt is away. Brady going to signal fair catch at the 14-yard line. So Indiana's going to have 25 seconds and 2 timeouts to work with. And let's see how aggressive they get here before halftime. It was a 48-yard punt. They've got 2 timeouts. Anyway, I think I could try to put a drive together here from Indiana. You could get some points. Even a field goal here won't hurt. So let's see how aggressive they get. They're going to start with a handoff. Hemby up the middle for about 3 yards. So the clock's going to run down to 15 seconds. And yeah, that's going to take it to halftime. Don't really like that. But we head to halftime. A 10-6 lead for Ohio State. Both teams' defenses look pretty good. That's not what I'm trying to say. There we go. So 10-6 at the half, and Ohio State gets the ball to start the second half. So in a pretty good spot, but I mean, if you're Indiana, you're still very much in this game. A 4-point game at halftime, I think you're still going to be feeling pretty good about yourself, even though you're down by 4 at the half. But I'm going to go take a quick break. As I do at halftime for every game I stream, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. So we got a 10-6 Ohio State lead at the half. A very defensive first half, both teams playing well defensively. And going to be very interesting to see how the second half plays out. Last year when these two teams played, it was pretty close in the first half. Indiana actually took an early lead. They were up 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Ohio State was up 14-7 at halftime. Then they just dominated the second half. But maybe that happens again. I just don't think so. This game's been very tightly contested. I would expect that to continue. But 10-6 at the half. Originally, I said Ohio State 27-17. I'm going to stick with Ohio State just because Indiana has not been able to put points in the end zone or put points to the board by scoring touchdowns. It's been only field goals, and you're going to need more than field goals to beat Ohio State. So I'm going to stick with Ohio State, and as far as the score goes, let's go. Let's see. Let's see. 10-6 right now. Let's give Ohio State a touchdown and put them at 17. Or let's say 24. Let's say 24-16. Ohio State. A little bit lower scoring than I originally had it. Or not by much though. But it can still definitely go either way. But we'll go over some stats from the first half. Let me pull them up. Give me 1 second. And Duke is also leading Virginia 14-7 at the half. That is a very interesting one to watch. I'll talk about that in a minute. But for Indiana, Fernando Mendoza went 9 of 17 for 87 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Kalen Black carried the ball 7 times for 54 yards. Roman Hemby 8 carries for 28 yards. And Fernando Mendoza 5 carries for -3 yards. Then receiving for Indiana, they have 4 guys with 2 catches for 20 yards. Jonathan Brady, Elijah Surratt, Charlie Becker, and Riley, I have no idea how to say that name. Nowakowski. I'm not going to try to say that. I have no idea how to say that. But that guy, they're tight number 37. Also 2 catches for 20 yards. And then Roman Hemby has 1 catch for 7. For Ohio State, Julian Sayin is 7 for 11, 109 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. On the ground for Ohio State, it really hasn't been great. Bo Jackson, 7 carries, 25 yards. Isaiah West, 1 carry, 4 yards. And Julian Sayin, 3 for -10. And it does make sense. Indiana is also really good against the run. I think they're top 5 run defense. They might be second behind Texas Tech. And then receiving for Ohio State, they only 2 guys catch the ball. Jeremiah Smith, 4 catches for 84 yards, and Carnell Tate, 3 for 25 and a touchdown. And then some team stats from that first half. 10 first downs for Indiana, 7 for Ohio State. Indiana also the better team on third down. They went 3 of 8. Ohio State 0 for 4. 1 for 1 on fourth down for Indiana. Ohio State did not attempt a fourth down. Total yards 166 for Indiana, 128 for Ohio State. Ohio State more passing yards though, but Indiana more rushing yards. 79 rushing yards is pretty good against the Ohio State defense in the first half. That's like more than they've given up the entire. That's more than their average they're allowing per game, or close to at least. Then penalties in the first half: 4 for 34 against Indiana, 2 for 20 against Ohio State. Each team threw a pick. And time possession 17 minutes 58 seconds for Indiana, 12 minutes 2 seconds for Ohio State. But obviously a game that can still definitely go either way. And Virginia and Duke. They're 14-7.5 right now. And obviously that is a very interesting one. Because you've got, if Duke wins, James Madison makes the playoff. If Virginia wins, they make the playoff, and James Madison does not. But we'll go over some other playoff scenarios right now. But I think what we're pretty much looking at right now is we're gonna have the winner of this game is 1. Georgia would be 2. The loser of this game, actually not necessarily true. But so let's go over this. Ohio State, if they win, they're the 1 seed. If Indiana wins, they're the 1 seed. But I think if Indiana wins, Ohio State only drops to the 2. But if Ohio State wins, I think Indiana drops to the 3. So based on what we think will happen, we're going to go Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana. I think that's the clear top 3. I would be pretty surprised if Texas Tech does jump into the top 3, even though they did look really good today. But then Texas Tech has pretty much locked up that 4 seed. They're going to get a bye. So we know who the top 4 seeds are going to be. We just don't completely know the order. But I do think that would be the case. Then Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, they're staying 5-8. They're going to host a playoff game. I'd be pretty surprised if that order changes. I do think the committee did drop Texas A&M too low. But they're going to stay at 7. They're not going to move them up for no reason. Oklahoma, I don't think they're very good. They're good, but they're not an elite team, but they're going to stay at 8. But 9 through 12 is where it gets fun, and it's where it gets really interesting. 9 seed is going to be either Miami or Notre Dame after Alabama lost today. I would go Notre Dame. That's the whole debate right now, although really it's more changing to Miami and Alabama, which should be Miami. But I would go Notre Dame as the 9 seed going to Oklahoma. Miami would be the 10 seed going to Texas A&M. The 11 seed would be either Tulane or James Madison. No, sorry. The 11 seed would be either Tulane or Virginia. And the 12 seed would be either Tulane or James Madison. You'd also go to Notre Dame at 9. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Obviously, I know Miami fans are all mad about that because of the whole the head-to-head thing, and even saying they beat common opponents by more. Although, yeah, I get the point, but Notre Dame also didn't go lose to 2 unranked teams. Plus, you can make the argument that they won by more points, but Notre Dame also took their starters out, and Miami just kept running up the score. So, I get it, but not entirely true. Miami 11, Virginia 12, Tulane Virginia 11, Tulane 12. I completely agree. And then obviously if Duke wins, then you've got Tulane 11, James Madison 12. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better about Notre Dame making the playoff than I was coming into the game, or into the day. But we needed BYU to lose. We needed Alabama to get blown out. Both those things happened. It really could not have gone any better. And if Miami ends up above Notre Dame, that shouldn't even matter anymore because both are going to be in the playoff. Alabama should definitely drop. There's no chance they only fall 1 spot for getting blown out by Georgia. I mean, I guess you can argue that they already beat Georgia at Georgia, but I mean, how much weight does that really pull right now when against the same Georgia team they just lost by 21 points? But let's see. Last year, what did they do? Last year, SMU are the conference championship losers. Texas, they fell a spot because Georgia moved up. So Texas and Penn State last year obviously lost the SEC and Big Ten respectively. And they both fell a spot because Georgia moved up for the win. Right? Then SMU lost to Clemson on a last-second field goal. They fell 2 spots from 8 to 10. And they were 11-2. Iowa State, they got blown out in the Big 12 title game last year. They also fell 2 spots. And who's the ACC? Oh, we talked about the ACC. So I mean, it looks like you're falling 2 spots. Well, I mean, I could really see it being a lot more. But even if Alabama falls 2, they're out of the playoff. BYU falls 2, obviously they're not making the playoff anyway. If they even stay there, which they're not. But yeah, Georgia saved us, yeah, for sure. But yeah, it seems like we got Notre Dame and Miami both into the playoff. And then Alabama would be the first team out for the 2nd straight year. I mean, hopefully the committee agrees, unless they want to protect Alabama again for no reason. I mean, they already had pretty much no reason to move them up last week to begin with. And now, you're talking about a 3-loss team, with one of those losses coming at 14 against a 5-7 Florida State team. I really don't think Alabama has much of an argument. I mean, yeah, they're a good team, but they have not been good recently. They are now 10-3, and no 3-loss team that has not won their conference has ever made the championship or made the playoff. Because you look at Alabama, they lost to Florida State by 14. Yes, that is a very bad loss. Then they beat UL Monroe. Okay, whatever. They're UL Monroe. They beat Wisconsin. Okay, they're not good. They beat Georgia. That's a good win. They went to Georgia, won by 3. Then they beat Vanderbilt by 16. That's another good win. Then they beat Missouri and Tennessee. Both those were ranked at the time. Now they're no longer ranked. So those are no longer ranked wins. They barely beat South Carolina, who's not very good. They beat LSU by 11, who's not very good. They lost to Oklahoma. They beat Eastern Illinois. They barely beat Auburn. And then they got blown out by Georgia. So, I mean, I don't think Alabama's a playoff team. I know Alabama fans are probably going to disagree. Some. Although Mark Ingram just said Alabama should make the playoff. So, I mean, if he can admit that, hopefully the committee can. The only thing is the committee really likes the SEC. So, yeah, there's always that. But, I mean, I just don't understand how they can justify putting Alabama in the playoff over a team like Miami or Notre Dame. Because you look at what they've done and you compare that to Alabama. Like, Alabama's got the worst loss by a mile. Like, obviously, Miami's losses aren't great, but they're also not losing to 5-7 Florida State. Miami actually beat Florida State. Not very convincingly, but they did. They won 28-22. But Miami, let's go through them real quick. Win over Notre Dame, then they beat Bethune-Cookman. Okay, who cares? That's an FCS team. Then they beat South Florida, who ended up being good but not great. They beat Florida, who's not very good. They beat Florida State, who's not very good, but obviously Alabama lost to them. Then they lost to Louisville, beat Stanford, lost to SMU. Now, those teams, I believe, both went 8-4, so not terrible, but not great. And then they beat Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. And for Notre Dame, they lost their first 2 games of the year to Miami and Texas A&M by a combined 4 points, and then they won 10 straight. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. So, I mean, I really don't think Alabama has an argument, or at least a good one. Let's see. Have they updated the strength of schedule numbers? I would assume probably not yet. Let's see. I wouldn't think so, because that's probably something that's done after. No, they have not. But Alabama's strength of record coming into the game was 8. Notre Dame was 13, Miami was 14. But Alabama's obviously going to get worse. Their strength of schedule is definitely the best. I mean, they've played a tough schedule. But they also lost to Florida State. So, I mean, that is what is going to hurt them. The Florida State loss. I mean, I guess really the debate right now is still Miami or Notre Dame. Just who gets the 9 seed, who gets the 10 seed. Although I think having the 10 seed could actually be the advantage, because now you're talking about the 9 seed would go to Oklahoma, who's obviously not playing very well. I'd probably pick both teams to beat Oklahoma. But yeah, you got Oklahoma hosting the 9 seed. Then you got A&M hosting the 7 seed. Obviously, it's very hard to go to Texas A&M. And I do think they're a tougher matchup than Oklahoma. But I would probably rather be the 10 seed, assuming Ohio State wins this game. Because then you don't got to play Ohio State until potentially the national championship game. As opposed to having to play Ohio State in the quarterfinals, assuming you win your first round game as the 9 seed. But the second half set to kick off here. Ohio State leading by 4. And they get the ball. But yeah, it is going to be really interesting to see what the committee ends up doing tomorrow. I think Notre Dame and Miami should both be in. Alabama should be the odd team out. And I'm going to be streaming tomorrow for my live reaction for the playoff rankings as they come in. So, I'll be live tomorrow. I'll probably start that stream about 12 o'clock. Same time the rankings start, because they're not going to start them right at 12. So we'll have some time to talk about them. Well, they'll obviously talk about them as well. So, that's the plan for tomorrow. kickoff here going to be returned from Ohio State from about the 5-yard line, and Brandon Innes will get it to about the 30-ish. There might be the 25. I can't tell which yard line that is. But the Ohio State offense back onto the field. They're up by 4. And overall, the Ohio State offense, they've been okay. They've had a couple big plays, but overall, the Indiana defense did a really nice job. So a 1st and 10 here. Play action here. Sayin throws the flat here, open receiver. And whoa! He just went up and like doing a forward roll in midair. I guess you can call that a flip. Without doing a flip, I'm not really sure. But gained about 8 on the play. So 2nd and short. Sayin in shotgun. Gonna hand it off here, Bo Jackson. And Jackson's got space. Lots of space for Bo Jackson. Inside Indiana territory down the 44-yard line. A nice run there for Bo Jackson. And a 1st down for Ohio State. Great patience right there by Bo Jackson after there was not much space initially, but space opens up. And a good run there for Bo Jackson. So 1st and 10 from the 44. Sayin with Jackson to his left. Play action here. Sayin wants to go deep, but Sayin gonna get sacked. Oh, he almost lost the ball right there. But it's gonna be a loss of 5 or 6 in the play. And that's like the 3rd or 4th time Sayin's been sacked today. Man, I feel so tired, but I don't want to miss the second half. Yeah, I feel you there. I'm also pretty tired, but obviously don't want to miss the second half, like you said. But I just need to make sure I don't go to bed late. That is something I'm not very good at. Yeah, but that is the 4th sack of the day for the Indiana defense. Ohio State's defense has 3 sacks. So Sayin to throw here on 2nd and 15. Gets pressured quickly again. And sacked again. Julian Sayin. Wait a minute. No, he got rid of that? Wait a minute. I thought the ref was signaling the play was dead. The ref is coming in like he's going to spot the ball. He's got his arm in the air. But Sayin's able to get out of that. So they're going to call that a sack. It's going to be a loss of 12, and it'll be 3rd and a mile for Ohio State. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's a sack, but it is 3rd and 27, and it's a swing pass out to C.J. Donaldson. And now we got play blown dead. So we got a timeout for Indiana prior to the snap. I'm not sure why. Alright, so let's see. They're going to explain this forward progress rule. I mean, I don't love that for a sack right there, but that is what they called. And I mean, there's no way to reverse that. So it's 3rd and 27. Sayan gonna look to throw. Sayan throws underneath, caught by Jeremiah Smith, but he's got a lot of work to do, and he's going just a yard. So Indiana's defense, they got to stop here on the first drive of the second half. And they'll get the ball back to the offense on 4th and 26. Indiana's offense held just 6 points in the first half. Their fewest in the first half this season. And this punt is going to go over the head of the returner, but it's going to bounce and check up the 11. Great punt right there for Ohio State. So it's a 51-yard punt. And Indiana gets the ball back to pretty deep inside their own territory. At their own 11-yard line. Let's check on Virginia and Duke. That game's still 14-7. They're about 5 minutes into the third quarter, but Virginia with a 3rd and 4 from the Duke 10-yard line right now. Potentially able to tie it up. I mean, the ACC probably isn't quite as upset if their champion doesn't make the playoff. I mean, that's still definitely not a good look. But now that Miami should get in, I guess it's not quite as bad, although, I mean, you still should have your conference champion make the playoff, because if it doesn't, that is not a very good look. Miami also just got a first down, sets them up 1st and goal from the Duke 5. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. I'm watching this Gamecast right now while Virginia's in the red zone. They get the ball now on the 2, 2nd and goal. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial here. Indiana going to get the football, or gets the football back for their first possession in the second half. Alright. So the Indiana offense back onto the field. So 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Mendoza in the pistol. And I'll turn around and hand off to Roman Hemby to the right side. And Hemby is going to end up picking about 5. Not much space, but they were to push the pile for a few extra yards. So it ends up being a pretty good run. So 2nd and 5. So Hemby motions into the backfield to his left of Mendoza. Mendoza, another handoff. Hemby, this time gained about 2, maybe 3. By the way, still Still no Omar Cooper for Indiana. Haven't seen him since the first drive of the game. So 3rd and 2. Ball on the 20-yard line. Mendoza in shotgun back to his right. Mendoza looks to throw. Mendoza takes a shot way downfield. Got a receiver. It's caught inside the 30-yard line. Charlie Becker with a big play. And Indiana with a huge play there on 3rd down. Great throw from Fernando Mendoza. He hits him right in stride. This is a perfect throw to Charlie Becker. Oh, this is a great catch, too. The defender's even got his arm in there. And Indiana gets it down to the Ohio State 29. Now they hand it off here to Hemby, who's got some space. And Roman Hemby gets pushed for an Indiana 1st down. Gain of 10 yards. Back-to-back. Nice plays for the IU offense. Ohio State, they have not trailed at all in the second half entering this game. Indiana, they've only trailed for 8 minutes and 47 seconds in the second half. Both these teams not used to trailing in the second half of games. Obviously, Indiana down for the first 6 minutes of this game, or second half. But looking to flip the script, make it Ohio State is trailing. They keep it on the ground here. Kalen Black to the right side for a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Indiana's red zone offense today, not been very good. They're the 7th best red zone offense in the country, with a touchdown 3 out of every 4 drives, 75%. But tonight, they've settled for 3 field goals, only made 2 of them. So 2nd and 8. 8:23 to go in the 3rd quarter. Mendoza in shotgun back to his left. Mendoza play action. Sets his feet, has time. Now Mendoza dancing around, rolling left. And Mendoza just throws it away. Something I've noticed, when Mendoza throws the ball away, he really throws it away. Well, he doesn't just flip it towards the sideline. He like throws it into the stands. So 3rd and 8. Indiana's 4 of 9 on 3rd down. Obviously just had that big pass play on 3rd down. Mendoza in shotgun, back to his right. Gonna look to throw. Mendoza takes a shot at the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Elijah Surratt, what a catch. Great throw from Fernando Mendoza. And Indiana retakes the lead. They're about to go up 13-10 with 8:02 to go in the 3rd quarter. What a throw and catch on the back shoulder fade. This is a really nice play. They line him up in the slot to the left and just throw a back shoulder throw to one of the best receivers in the country. And it is now 13-10. And Ohio State trailing in the second half for the first time this season. Tight coverage too, what a catch. Yeah, the only way to even beat that is the back shoulder. That was like a perfect throw and catch right there from Indiana. You can't do it any better. So Indiana now up 13-10 with 8:02 to go in the 3rd quarter. And that is a huge drive for Indiana. I mean, they go right down the field. I was helped out by the big pass play. It's really 2 big pass plays, both on 3rd down. The big play to Charlie Becker And then the touchdown throw to Elijah Surratt. It was a 51-yard pass and a 17-yard pass, both on third down. It was a 7-play, 88-yard drive, taking 3:30 off the clock. And Indiana's up by 3. By the way, an update on Duke and Virginia. Duke now up 14-10. Virginia ends up settling for a field goal. So Duke's still up by 4. There's 7:19 to go in the third quarter of that game. Man, how crazy would this be if Indiana actually beats Ohio State? I mean, obviously still a long time to go in this game. But, like, I think everyone knows Indiana's good. But I don't know if anyone thinks Indiana's, like, truly elite. Like, an Ohio State level elite. Like, maybe some people do. Like, I'm sure Indiana fans probably think that. But I mean, I also haven't seen Indiana play a ton in this season, but they look to be very, very good. Now it's getting good, yeah, for sure. I mean, the first half was always close, just a lot of defense, but now a great drive by the offense for Indiana. And now they're up by 3. Well, we got 8:02 to go in the third quarter. A 3-point lead for Indiana. Indiana's in the Big Ten championship game for the first time since 1967. And I believe they also haven't beaten Ohio State in like 45 years, I think. 1988, I believe, was the last time. But 8:02 to go in the third quarter. Ohio State gets the ball back. The kick goes in the end zone and will be a touchback as they take a knee. But it's obviously the first time this year Ohio State trailing in the second half. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle this, how they respond to not everything going in their favor. And I mean, that's been like the one criticism of Ohio State this year. Like, you don't know how they perform in a close game. We'll get to find out right now. So Sayin in shotgun here, back to his right from the 25-yard line. They'll start off the handoff. Bo Jackson to the left side, and he'll gain about 7 yards. And a nice pickup there on first down. So 2nd and 3. Sayin in shotgun back to his right. And another handoff, Jackson. This time stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Maybe he actually lost a yard on the play. But a nice job of the Indiana defense. So 3rd and 4, and this is a big play right here. I mean, even though the Ohio State defense is insanely good, you still don't want to go 3 and out right here if you're Ohio State. But they're 0 for 5 on third down today. This is a 3rd and 4. Sayin going to make a check at the line. Got a back line to his right. Indiana brings 5. Quick throw. That pass going to be caught for a first down. Brandon Inniss makes the catch. He got 5 and moves the sticks. And it's the first third down conversion of the game for Ohio State. So 1st and 10 from the 35. Sayin under center. And play action. Sayin rolls right, throws the flat. That's caught by a wide open receiver. That's the tight end Max Clare, and he's forced out of bounds at the Indiana 45-yard line. And after those last two plays, Ohio State has now doubled the amount of pass catchers they've had in the game this season. In this game. Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, the only two players to catch a pass in the first half. I know we've already seen two different guys catch the ball here in the second half. Here's a handoff. Jackson taken down for a loss. Sorry, that's actually Isaiah West, who lost 2. So 2nd and 11. Sayin off play action. Throws back. Shoulder that pass. Wow, what a catch by Jeremiah Smith. And a first down. That is a great catch from Jeremiah Smith. To get a foot down, that is a great throw and catch. Jeremiah Smith, 6 catches for 103 yards after that play. Sayin will look to throw here, gets pressured quickly, finds Clare in the flat, and Max Clare is going to get taken down at the 20-yard line, gain of 7 on the play. So 2nd and 2. About 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. So Sayin gonna hand it off here. Jackson straight ahead. Oh wow, if you're able to break that tackle, he's probably scoring. But the Indiana defender able to slow him down just enough. So ends up stopping Jackson after getting about 5. But it is enough for a first down. Wow, he got just enough. So it's a 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Sayin in the pistol, back behind him. Go play action. Sayin sidearms it underneath. That pass is going to be caught for getting about 6. Found one of the other tight ends. So it brings up 2nd and about 4. So 2nd and 3. Sayin in the pistol. Jackson is behind him. And here's a handoff. Jackson straight ahead. And he'll get 2. Make it 3rd and 1 from the 5-yard line. Ohio State, 3 red zone possessions today. 1 touchdown, 1 field goal. This is their third trip to the red zone. That is a weird way of putting that. And wouldn't that mean they have 2 red zone possessions so far? And this is their third? Not they've already had 3. That doesn't make any sense. But it's currently a 10-play, 70-yard drive. They've taken a little over 6 minutes off the clock. So 3rd and 1 from the 5. Sayin in shotgun. Jackson to his left. Design roll to his left. Sayin On the move. Throws. Incomplete. Wanted Jeremiah Smith, but just nowhere to go. Good coverage there on the outside. And it brings up 4th and 1. So Ohio State can actually go for this here on 4th and short. Instead of trying to tie the game up, they're going to go for it. 4th and 1. They're 11 of 16 on 4th downs on the season. And they're going to try to sneak it here and going to have the first down. So Julian Sayin able to move the sticks on a sneak. And it's 1st and goal here for Ohio State. So they got the ball on the 4-yard line. We got play blown dead here and stopped. Oh, they're going to review this right here. So they're going to review it. I thought he got the first down. I also wasn't really looking at his knee too much, but they just want to be safe. But, I mean, we'll see what they end up doing. I do think this is a first down, though. And Duke, Virginia is now 17-10. Duke has extended their lead. 3:53 to go in the third quarter there. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Hold on 1 second. Alright. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Obviously, a 13-10 lead for Indiana, but it's most likely a 1st and goal for Ohio State. Obviously, they are reviewing it, but I do think he did get that first down. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Oh my, his knee was down? Julian Sayin's knee was down. Oh my, he has to get to the 4-yard line. And his knee goes down so quickly. Wow, so Indiana gets a stop. Ohio State comes up short. Wow. I didn't even realize that when they showed the replay before. So the Indiana defense gets a 4th down stop. And they got the offense back on the field at the 5-yard line. It is their own 5, but that's big. They're able to stay in the lead. And they hand it off to Black to the right side for no gain. As we're now under a minute to go here in the third quarter. But that is a huge call right there. And it is definitely the right call. His knee's clearly down. It is the right call, but it's a big one. So 2nd and 10. Mendoza in shotgun back to his right. Surratt goes in motion. Play action. Mendoza from his end zone. Throws underneath. That pass can be caught for a first down. Gain of 11. And Indiana moves the sticks, and that should be the final play of the third quarter. You've also got an injured Ohio State player. That's Caden Curry down the field. He's had a great game. So hopefully he's okay. He's down in one knee. But we head to the fourth quarter, and through 3 quarters, Indiana leads 13-10. Wow, what a performance for Indiana so far. I mean, like, no disrespect to Indiana, but I did not really see this coming. I thought Ohio State would not necessarily dominate this game, but I thought they'd pretty much be in control and consistently be up by, like, I don't know, up by 7, somewhere around there. But, I mean, this is a really good performance for Indiana. And, I mean, something I wanted to see was just how good is Indiana, and, I mean, they're apparently really good. But we head to the fourth quarter. Indiana up by 3, and they've also got the football. Going to be very interesting to see how this one ends up finishing. I mean, both the defenses continue to play extremely well. And it'll be interesting. Let's check Virginia and Duke. Duke's still up 17-10 right there. They're about to go to the fourth quarter. 29 seconds left in the third. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial as we enter the final quarter of play. But we still wait for them to come back. This is a long commercial break. Any day now. But it's a first down for Indiana at about their own 15 or so yard line. And they're also up by 3. Obviously, Ohio State trailing with the first time in the second half. And they responded to put together a good drive, but then came up short on fourth down. And now, obviously, Indiana has the ball back. Well, here we go. We start the fourth quarter. Indiana with the football up 13-10. Caden Curry was down on a knee at the end of the third quarter. He's standing on the sideline. Looks good to go. Glad to see he's okay. So Mendoza in shotgun back to his left. From the 17-yard line, they bring a receiver in motion, and they hand it off here to Kalen Black, who's taking down at the line of scrimmage. So it's 2nd and 10. Got about 14 and a half minutes to go. 14:35. So Mendoza in the pistol. They motion a lineman across the formation. So 6 linemen in the game here for Indiana. Don't see college teams use it a ton. See the NFL teams use it a lot though. Mendoza gets pressured, rolls right. Mendoza throws across the field. That pass can be called for a first down. Becker to the 31. And they move the sticks. Another nice catch for Charlie Becker. He really stepped up when Elijah Surratt was out with injury. And he's stepping up again with no Omar Cooper, who got hurt in the first drive of the game. So 1st and 10 from the 32. Mendoza hands off. Black left side. And Black going to try to break a tackle, but he'll get dragged down for a 4. By the way, Ohio State wanted a flag on their previous play for a hold. But there was no flag, obviously. So 2nd and 6. Indiana's now run for over 100 yards today. We are at 103. Only the 2nd team to run for more than 100 against Ohio State this season. Here's a throw to the outside. That pass caught by Becker. And he's going to pick up about 7. And another first down for Indiana. Charlie Becker, 5 catches for 93 yards today. So a 1st and 10 for Indiana on their own 43. Mendoza in shotgun back to his right. And here's a handoff. Hemby left side. And Roman Hemby then cuts upfield for a gain of about 3. I'm going to look up Charlie Becker's stats real quick. Because there was somebody on Indiana, I think it was him, who had like 7 catches all year. And then they had 7 catches against Penn State. And they've just been great since then. I think it's Charlie Becker, but I'm going to look him up to make sure. So a 2nd and 7 here for Indiana. High snap, handled by Mendoza, and he'll hand off to Hemby for a gain of a yard, maybe 2. But yeah, that is Charlie Becker. He had 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 catches before they went into the game against Penn State. Then he caught 7 passes against Penn State for 118 yards. He caught 5 for 108 against Wisconsin. And now obviously having a huge game here in the Big Ten Championship game. So 3rd down and 5 here for Indiana. A little over 11 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Indiana 5 of 10 on 3rd down. Average 6.2 yards to go. Mendoza looks to throw. Mendoza pressured. Mendoza rolling right. And he's just going to throw it away. So Ohio State going to get a punt here from Indiana. So 4th and 5. Indiana will punt it away. And Brandon Inniss does not call for a fair catch. And he'll return it from the 7 to about the 8, maybe the 9-yard line. But Ohio State getting the football back. Down by 3. Let's see what they can do. Although they are backed up deep inside their own territory. They just showed the Surratt touchdown again before they went to commercial, which made me think of something. Indiana and Elijah Surratt had a very similar touchdown against Oregon. It was a back shoulder. Yeah, that was actually the game-winning touchdown. That one came with 6:23 to go in the fourth quarter. And that ended up being the one that put him ahead for good. As they broke a 20-20 tie, went up 27-20, and obviously ended up winning 30-20. I mean, obviously still very early to tell if this one will be the difference maker from Surratt, but obviously he's got the touchdown to put him in the lead right now. And Elijah Surratt, 3 catches for 37 yards, and he's found the end zone. Duke still leads Virginia 17-10. That is very interesting. We really might get 2 group of 5 teams in the college football playoff. Because obviously if Duke wins, James Madison's going to the playoff. If Virginia wins, they'll go to the playoff. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Let's see what Ohio State can do here offensively this drive. Last drive, obviously, they had a good drive. Just couldn't convert on that 4th down. And then turned it over on downs. So they're back from commercial. Ohio State starting on their own 9-yard line, somewhere around there. Ohio State, they've been trailing for 12 minutes and 17 seconds in the second half today after not trailing for a single second in the first half in the regular season. Just how dominant they were. So 1st and 10 from the 10. Sayin in shotgun back to his right. They're going to hand it off here. Jackson up the middle. And Bo Jackson going to pick up 5. So 2nd and 6. Sayin in the pistol to bring a tight end in motion. Bo Jackson is behind him. And they'll hand it to him again. Jackson up the middle, got space here. And Jackson, nice run, gains about 8 yards. And an Ohio State 1st down. Bo Jackson, now the 5th true freshman in school history to run for over 1,000 yards in his true freshman season. He's now run for 1,014. So 1st and 10 from the 24. Sayin, gonna look to throw. Have time. Sayin throws underneath. That pass can be caught, and he's chopped down after getting about 4. So it brings up a 2nd and 6 with a little over 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. So 2nd and 6. Sayin comes under center. They go I formation. And they hand it off to Isaiah West. And he's pretty much stuffed at the line of scrimmage for no gain. And now just like that, it's 3rd down. Ohio State has not been very good on 3rd down. They've got just 1 3rd down conversion all game. I believe they're 1 for 8 maybe? Maybe 1 for 7? But they have not been good on 3rd down. This is the big one right here. 3rd and 5. 8:20 to go. Ohio State 1 of 7 on 3rd down. Sayin in shotgun. Donaldson is the back line to his left. Indiana brings 4. Sayin drifts left. Throws underneath that pass. Caught for a 1st down. Donaldson makes the catch on the check down. And he picks up 7. And Ohio State moves the sticks. They did a great job taking away Jeremiah Smith. And then Sayin does a good job just checking it down to Donaldson. And Sayin gets pressured quickly here. Going to throw to Smith in the flat. He's got a lot of work to do. Just got back to the line of scrimmage. And he's taken down for also maybe 6 yards on the play. That is a huge loss right there. That play didn't look right from the start for Ohio State. Sayin got pressured very quickly. And then Indiana able to rally the football and make a big tackle for loss in Jeremiah Smith. So 2nd and 15 after that one. So Sayin looks to throw. Throws underneath. This one caught by Jackson to the 44. So it brings up 3rd and 8 for Ohio State. We got 6:20 to go in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 8. Ohio State 2 of 8 on 3rd down. Obviously, they just converted on 1. So Sayin in shotgun back to his left. Sayin looks to throw. Sayin rolling right. Sayin throws downfield. Caught for a 1st down. Carnell Tate to the 40-yard line makes the catch. And a big 3rd down conversion for Ohio State. But a nice catch right there by Carnell Tate on the sideline. And a great play by Julian Sayin. Get outside the pocket, extend the play. Escape the rush. And he's perfect 5 of 5 for 34 yards on this drive. So 1st and 10 from the 41. Handoff Bo Jackson up the middle for a gain of about 3 to the 38-yard line. $5:20 to go in the 4th quarter. Indiana still up by 3. Nine-play, 51-yard drive for Ohio State. On the Indiana 39-yard line, 4:45 to go. Sayin play action, steps up. Sayin just throws it away. Over the head of Bo Jackson. Brings up 3rd and 8, 4:43 to go. So 3rd and 8. Another big 3rd down. 3rd downs get bigger and bigger as we get deeper inside or into this game. Indiana brings a blitz here. Backwards pass. Ennis going to look to throw it. He throws back across the field to Bo Jackson, who makes the catch. Jackson gets a block, and he's still short. We got flags that come in. He's going to be short of a first down. It'll be 4th and about a yard, but there's flags down. 2 of them in the same area. This is going to be some kind of illegal low block or something. I don't know who it's going against. It's going against the defense. It goes against Indiana, so it gives them an automatic first down. He goes with the legs of the lineman, which is what the penalty is. And that now extends the drive and puts him well into field goal range, the 18-yard line. So Sayin, gonna hand it off here, Bo Jackson. Gonna break free of initial contact, spin away from more defenders, and lunge forward for a gain of 7. Nice run there for Jackson. Wow, Curt Cignetti's mad about something. I think he's saying they missed 2 holding calls. So it's a 12-play, 80-yard drive so far for Ohio State. Ball on the 10, 2nd and 2. Another handoff. Jackson straight ahead. Looks like got about a yard, maybe yard and a half, but he's short for another first down. Brings up 3rd and short, inside 3.5 minutes to go. Ohio State, on their previous 3 red zone possessions, 1 field goal, 1 touchdown, 1 turnover on downs. If you also score a touchdown here, you're not leaving Indiana with too much time. But Sayin under center. Play action. Sayin rolls right. Sayin on the run, throws, end zone, knocked away, it's incomplete. What a play there by the defensive back. I don't know who that is for Indiana, but he makes a great play. This is a huge play by the Indiana defense all around. I mean, one guy covers the running back in the flat, another guy goes to attack Sayin, and another guy makes a great play on the back end. This is a great play by the Indiana defense. And Ohio State, they're going to settle for 3 right here and tie this game up with 2:51 to go, which definitely makes a lot of sense. So Fielding. Oh, he missed it! He missed it! Jaden Fielding misses it from 27. Wow. How did he miss that? Wow. How do you miss that? A 27-yard field goal, and Indiana stays up by 3 with 2:48 to go. Oh, man. That could cost him the game. A 27-yard field goal from Jaden Fielding is no good. And Indiana stays up by 3, 13-10. He should have made that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's one of the better kickers in college football as well. I mean, that is huge. I'm trying to pull up his numbers right now. But I mean, from inside 30 on the year, he's probably like, I probably hasn't missed. By the way, Duke and Virginia is still 17-10. Duke leads. Jaden Fielding. He has never missed from 20 to 29 yards in his career until now. On the year, he was 15 of 17. 6 of 6 from inside 30. 6 of 7 from 30 to 39. 3 of 3 from 40 to 49 as a miss from 50 plus. I think they should have went for it on 4th down. I mean, well, now knowing what happens, yeah, but I mean, I like the decision to kick the field goal right there. I mean, I definitely think you can think about it, but just tie the game up, rely on your defense, which has been literally the best defense in the country, to get a stop, go to overtime, or potentially get the ball back to the offense so they can go up a drive together. So I do like kicking it and just tying it up. But now Ohio State needs their defense to come up big in the worst way possible right now. So 1st and 10 from the 20. Mendoza hands it off, Black left side, and he'll get about 4 yards. Yeah, you do have all 3 timeouts. Now you got 2 because Ohio State spends 1 right here. But I mean, even if you didn't have all 3 timeouts, I think you'd still be able to get the ball back. If you only had 1, or if you only had 1 or 2. The only thing I'm not sure if you had 0 timeouts, which you still might be able to get the ball back if you got a 3 and out. But still a chance for Ohio State. Although, a major missed opportunity. And now, if you're Ohio State, you gotta get a stop. Indiana, they've run for 114 yards, 4.2 yards per carry. That might be the most that Ohio State has allowed. I'm trying to think who else would have run the ball well against them. There's really nobody. I don't think Texas ran it well. Grambling, definitely not. Oh, no, it was Texas. Texas ran for 166 on 4.5 yards of carries. Never mind. But they're the only team to rush for, I think, more than 100 against Ohio State. Grambling ran for 94. That's kind of a lot to give up to Grambling. Ohio ran for... Let's see. They ran for 68. Washington ran for 61. Minnesota, probably not much. Yes, 68. Illinois, let's see. Ran for 47. Wisconsin ran for 95. Penn State ran for 55. Purdue ran for 92. UCLA ran for 68. Wow, how many teams are going to run for 68 against them? Apparently a lot. Rutgers ran for 66. And Michigan ran for 100 on the dot. So they've allowed now 3 teams to run for over 100 yards. Or at least 100. 2 teams to run for over 100. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. So 2nd and 5, we got 2:44 to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Indiana up by 3. 2nd and 5, Mendoza in shotgun. Brings Surratt in motion. And they hit. Whoa, what happened there? That did not look good from Indiana. They end up with no gain in the play. Corey Black's the corner for the Giants. Kalen Black, that's his name. Got nothing, but that did not look good. Because, I mean, you've got Mendoza almost tried to pull that on the option. That could have been a disaster, but luckily Indiana is able to hold on to the football. Indiana, they've beaten Ohio State Ohio State's beaten Indiana 30 straight times. Indiana, the 2nd most losses in FBS history. Ohio State, the 2nd most wins in FBS history. And Indiana trying to upset Ohio State here to win the Big Ten. So 3rd and 6, huge play right here. 2:41 to go. By the way, Ohio State did call timeout after that last play. So 3rd and 6, Mendoza going to look to throw it here. Mendoza takes a shot deep downfield. Becker makes the play at the 44-yard line. Another big play for Charlie Becker. Another great throw for Fernando Mendoza. And Indiana with the 1st down. Ohio State not calling timeout. They should be able to take this all the way to the 2-minute warning. Wow, 32 yards to the 44-yard line. Mendoza to Charlie Becker again. What a throw, what a catch. And the 1st down for Indiana. Bro, Becker's really good. He's having a great game. He has been insane today. The craziest thing is he had like 7 catches in the first 7 games. Alright, so we got 2-minute warning. 1 timeout left for Ohio State. Can they get the ball back? I think so. But it's not going to be with much time. Right, let's think about this. You run the ball, let's say you take 4 seconds off the clock. That puts you down to minute 56. The clock would stop for 2nd and 10. Or 2nd and 6. They call the timeout. It wouldn't really matter how much you get. But so Ohio State would have to force a 3 and out. So down to a minute 56. Let's say you take another 4 seconds. That brings you down to minute 52. You get the 40-second play clock. Brings you down to a minute 32. Would that be... Oh, wait a minute. I've confused myself. So you run the 2nd down play with a minute 52. Or after the 2nd down play with a minute 52. Then you can bring that down to a minute 12. You snap the ball on 3rd down and bring it down to 108. And then it can run down to about 30-ish seconds. So assuming Ohio State can get the stop right here, they'll get the ball back with roughly 20 seconds to go. Once you factor in the time of the punt and stuff like that. So Ohio State still has a chance, but not a very good one because they're also most likely be getting the ball deep inside their own territory. Although, I mean, you don't even have to punt if you're Indiana, depending on how much you can get here. If you can get to the 33-yard line, say make it 4th and 1, you could kick a field goal and make a 6-point game. That's an option as well. But the last time Indiana beat Ohio State was 1988. Looking to snap that streak. Fernando Mendoza started 3 of 9 for 30 yards and a pick. Since then, 12 of 15, 192 yards, and a touchdown. He's played pretty well. Made some big-time throws as well. So 1st and 10 here for Indiana. Ball on the 43. Mendoza in shotgun. Gonna hand it off. Oh, he slips in the backfield, and he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Black got the carry. So it'll be second and 10. Okay, now why is Ohio State not using their timeout right here? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. You've got one to spend, so it doesn't really matter when you use it, I guess. But it's going to be the same timing. So 2nd and 10. Mendoza in shotgun, back to his left. Mendoza hands it off. Black taken down after a gain of about 3, getting to the 40-yard line. And now Ohio State calls timeout. Minute 10 to go. Alright, so minute 10. It's 3rd down. You can run this here. Take 4 seconds. That brings you to minute 6. Down to 26. Yeah, they're going to get the ball back with 15 to 20 seconds. Not looking great if you're Ohio State. I mean, possible, but extremely unlikely. But that was the 3rd and final timeout called by Ohio State. Indiana, I believe, still has 2 timeouts. We'll have to see. I mean, they can also use a timeout before a potential 4th down play. I mean, what would you do on 4th down, too? Would you punt? I guess you'd punt, right? Because you're surely not going for it and risking not getting it. And you're also probably not kicking the field goal because it's too far for that. So I would say you probably punt this. I mean, I could even see them taking like a 5-yard loss here. Honestly, you want to take a knee though? Probably not. Never mind. I was going to say you could just take a knee here. And lose like 5 yards. And lose 5 yards and then punt it away. But I mean, if you get a 1st down, game's over. So that might not be a great way of thinking about things. Just go for the win right now. But, I mean, it's got to be a run play, though. That's obvious, because you can't risk stopping the clock with an incompletion. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Obviously, a 3-point Indiana lead with about a minute 10 to go. Let's check Virginia and Duke. Let's see. Oh, Duke now up by 10. Duke leads 20-10 with 5 minutes to go. Wow. You think Duke will win? Yeah, looking pretty likely. I mean, up by 10, 5 minutes to go. Anything is possible, but that is crazy. So here's a 3rd and 7 for Indiana. They're going to run it here. Black up the middle. And he stopped after a gain of 2. Alright, so let's see here. It's about a 24-second difference. I think they're going to be able to take this down to 24 seconds. And call a timeout. Yeah, about 24 seconds. Gonna call the timeout. So it is 24 on the game clock. 24 seconds left. Now, fourth and 5. You probably punt this, right? And if you're Ohio State, I think you come all out to block this punt. You put one guy back deep to fair catch it. And you send the other 10 guys at the punter. Don't even worry about blocking the outside or anything. I think you just come all out and try to block this punt. It does not look like what Ohio State's going to do. Oh, now they shift. Yeah, they're going to come after it. So it's 4th and 5. They're going to punt it. Ohio State comes after it. It's away quickly and cleanly. And it's fair caught at the 13-yard line with 18 seconds left on the clock. So Ohio State, 18 seconds. No timeouts. Ohio State, they've run for 58 yards today, which is their fewest since 2011. That is a long time ago. 14 years. Ohio State, they scored 10 points. They've been sacked 5 times. And the Indiana defense also forced a turnover. The Indiana defense played really well. So 1st and 10. Only need a field goal to tie, but you need to get a lot of yards in a short amount of time. Saying. Pressured. Oh, you can't be checking the ball down here. He checks it down to C.J. Donaldson, who goes out of bounds after a gain of a yard. You cannot be checking the ball down right there. You need to force this ball downfield. I mean, if you throw a pick, you throw a pick, but you can't be throwing checkdowns right here. So it's 2nd and 9. 13 seconds left. You've probably got 2 plays. I mean, at the very least, you got to get in your midfield to have a chance at a Hail Mary. So you still need 35 yards. Saying, looks to throw. Steps up, launches one. Way downfield. This is like a Hail Mary from your own 15. And this is incomplete. Yeah, it's incomplete here. This one got tipped. Somebody made a diving attempt at it. I don't think it got caught. Yeah, it definitely bounced on the ground. So now it's 3rd and 9. They're going to have some kind of crazy lateral play here. So 3rd and 9, 2 seconds left. Going to be the final play of the game. So let's see what they do. Saying, they're just going to try to have him throw it as far as he can. Let's see. Let's one go deep. A crowd of people. It's tipped up in the air. It's caught by Jeremiah Smith. But he's wrapped up right there. And the game is over. Indiana beats Ohio State 13-10. And they're going to get the 1 seed in the college football playoff. And they win the Big Ten title. Wow. How about that? Indiana goes 13-0 and upsets Ohio State to win their first Big Ten championship since 1967. Yeah, what a win for Indiana. What a 2-year turnaround for Curt Cignetti. I mean, Indiana goes like, I forget what they were. They might have been 1-11 before he got there, 2-10, 3-9. They were not good. And then last year, they go 11-1, make the playoff. They end up losing in the first round. Now they go 13-0, win the Big Ten. Wow. (13-10). Indiana beats Ohio State to win the conference. I think you've also probably only dropping Ohio State a spot. I don't think Ohio State's falling very far. Obviously, Indiana's won for probably the first time ever. And then Ohio State would fall to number 2. And I think you keep the rest 3 through 8. Yeah, up to Oklahoma. Would all be the same. But what a win for Ohio, or for Indiana, as they upset Ohio State and win it 13-10. The same score that Ohio State lost to Michigan by last year. And I mean, maybe Ohio State, something clicks for them again. I mean, something looked like it was clicking for them the entire season. But after the loss to Michigan, something really happens. Maybe something happens again. But we'll have to see. I still think it's still crazy that Jeremiah Smith still found a way to call it that ball, or catch that ball. Alright, I'm going to stay on and watch the end of the ACC Championship game right now. It's a 7-point game. Duke up 7, 20-13. And they've got the football. We're at the 2-minute warning right now. And Virginia's got 2 timeouts. They can get the ball back. So I'm going to stay on and watch the end of this game. Broke the 30-game streak against Ohio. Happy for Indiana. Yeah, I mean, what a win for them. That is a crazy win. I mean, talk about the turnaround for Curt Cignetti. Let's see. I want to pull it up. I'm also going to see if they've ever been ranked number 1. I really don't know if they have. But let's see. Direct commercial here at the 2-minute warning of Virginia and Duke right now. But Indiana, before Curt Cignetti got there, they went 9-3. Then they made the playoff last year. Now they're 13-0 this year, and they're going to get the top seed. Let's see. Has Indiana ever been ranked number 1? They've been ranked 4. No, Indiana has never been ranked as the number 1 team in the country. So they'll be ranked as number 1 for the first time ever tomorrow, after the win over Ohio State. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial as we wait for the end of the Virginia and Duke ACC title game. Oh, sorry, what I said before is actually not true. There's 3:04 left to go, so we're not at the 2-minute warning. So Virginia's still got a chance in this game. So strange for their basketball teams to have such great history. Yeah, it's really weird to see. It's actually kind of common to see teams with great basketball teams, not good football teams. But Indiana becoming a football school apparently as well. But a 2nd and 8. No, there is 2 minutes left. Duke hands it off here, and they're taking down at the line of scrimmage. A flag is down. Oh, that could be big. And that also stops the clock. It's an illegal formation against Duke that'll... Ooh, that's interesting, though. Do you take the penalty? Or do you decline it? Because if you decline the penalty, the clock will stay stopped, and the down counts. I think I decline this and trust the defense. Because it'd be 3rd down with the clock stopped when you won't have to use a timeout. I think I decline this if I'm Virginia. Yeah, they do decline it. So it'll be 3rd down for Duke. Up by 7 with 1:57 to go in the 4th quarter. Duke with a 3rd and 8. Both teams with 2 timeouts, and the big thing with the penalty right there is it stops the clock with Virginia not having to use a timeout. So it's like a timeout without them having to use one. So Mensah in shotgun, and he can hand it off. He's going to get around one defender, and he's going to take him down. Oh, did he go out of bounds? Oh my, he went out of bounds. That is what you could not do. He goes out of bounds. Talk about 2 plays right there for Duke. The penalty, where they line up wrong, stops the clock for Virginia. And they go out of bounds, which stops the clock for Virginia. So Virginia can get the ball with 1:51 to go without having to use either of their remaining timeouts. Those are 2 bad mistakes for Duke. You cannot go out of bounds right there. That is crazy. So Virginia going to get the ball as Duke punts it away. And a fair catch is taken at the 4-yard line. So Virginia with an opportunity here. Down by 7. They got 2 timeouts, 1:44 to go. They got all kinds of time. Now we have to see if they can go down the field and try to win this game. Or at least tie the game. Virginia, they're 4-2 in 1-score games this season. They've won 3 of them in overtime. This is what Virginia does. They win close games. So a 1st and 10 for Virginia on their own 4-yard line. Morris can look to throw. Will throw underneath. That pass caught. And it can stay inbounds. It's going to be short of a 1st down. The clock will continue to run. 1:35 to go. That was a completion to Cam Ross. 4 for 51 in the day. 2nd down for Virginia. Duke brings 5. Quick throw to the outside. Caught for a 1st down. To the 18-yard line. Clock will stop temporarily until the ball is spotted. Because he got the 1st down. So 1:17 to go. And now the clock starts running again. Morris gets pressured. Throws underneath. That pass caught. And again, he's short of a 1st down. There's actually a flag down, though, so that's going to stop the clock. 1:08 to go in the 4th quarter. This is going to be defensive holding right here. So you could decline the penalty, and again, clock stays stopped. Duke really not helping themselves in this drive, or on the last, what we've seen in this game, the last 2 minutes. So 108 to go. Oh, that is definitely a hold. That's not even a hold. That's a tackle. That's the 7th penalty for Duke for 60 yards. But 108 to go. Virginia down by 7. On their own 28-yard line, Morris and shotgun back to his right. Morris throws over the middle. Oh, it's off the hands of the receiver. And incomplete, but another flag comes in. This one might be defensive pass interference. It is. Defensive pass interference. Oh, no chance. That is not pass interference. That is such a bad call. That is not pass interference. Bad call right there. Now there's 105 to go. The ball's now on the 40-yard line. At this rate, Virginia's going to get down the 5-yard line only because of penalties. So 105 to go. They get the ball on their own 40. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Morris and shotgun back to his left. Morris going to look to throw. Oh, that you could not do that. Oh, you got to break a tackle. That'll work. Going to gain 8. The clock is still running. Actually, 55 seconds left. Now, Virginia calls timeout. You just couldn't do that there if you're Chandler Morris. He checks it down to the back, Jamari Taylor. Now looks like he's hurt. You just did not want to do that. I mean, you got to make sure you can get a first down or get to the sideline. I mean, Morris very lucky right there, and Virginia lucky that they didn't lose 5 and instead pick up 8. So now 1 timeout left for Virginia, 56 seconds. For Duke, they're 7-5. They win a 5-way tiebreaker to reach the ACC championship game. Currently up by 7 right now. So Morris and shotgun back to his left. Morris looks to throw. Morris takes a shot downfield. That is broken up. Trying to hit the back out of the backfoot on a wheel route. But it got knocked away. And it's incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 2. So it is now a 3rd down and 2. 52 seconds left in the game. Virginia obviously needs a touchdown to tie. Morris and shotgun back to his right from their own 48. They're going to run the ball here up the middle. It's going to work though. Oh, he breaks the tackle down to the 33-yard line. That is a big run for Virginia. They run the ball on 3rd down. Looks like they catch Duke sleeping. And we had an injury timeout, a Duke player down in the field. Hopefully he's okay. But that is a big time run right there. For Virginia. Because it puts the ball down to about the 30-yard line. A little short of the 30-yard line. You still got a timeout left. 47 seconds. It's a big opportunity right here for Virginia. And I just hope the injured player for Duke is okay. Who comes up with these college football playoff chances? Alabama still got an 81% chance to make the college football playoff, and Miami's got a 22% chance. Notre Dame is at 95%, which is definitely right. They're going to make the playoff. At least I believe that. It should be Notre Dame and Miami, not Alabama. Alabama should not be in the college football playoff tomorrow. I'll be streaming, and I'll be live reacting to all the rankings as they come out. But I'm very interested to see what they do. 9 seeds, 8, really 9 and 10, obviously. The final two at-larges. Morris throwing high and incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10 with 41 seconds to go. So it's 2nd and 10, 41 seconds left here for Virginia. Morrison shotgun back to his left. Ball on the Duke 33. Morris looks to throw, rolling right. Throwing to the flat, pass is caught. And will get out of bounds and stop the clock with 36 seconds left. Average pickup of about 7. So 3rd and 4. 36 seconds left. From the 27-yard line, Morris throwing outside, too high and incomplete. He had an open receiver, just threw way too high. And now it's 4th and 4, game on the line for Virginia. Fourth and 4, Duke looking for their first ACC title since 1989. Morris going to look to throw here on 4th and 4. Quick throw. Caught for a first down. To the 18-yard line, a big throw and catch. They find him on the slant. And now Virginia goes quickly. Morris takes a shot. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Virginia. Wow. Virginia scores with 22 seconds left. Apparently this guy did go out of bounds. Yeah, he's out of bounds. I don't know what the rule is there. But it's going to stand. It's a touchdown for Virginia, and the extra point here to tie it. It is good. I was not expecting this game to actually take that long, so now I'm actually going to change the title of the stream. The thumbnail's still going to be off, but whatever. I'm not making a new thumbnail for like 30 seconds, although we're going to overtime, most likely now. So Duke gets the ball back here. .22 seconds left. Let's see if Duke can do something crazy or if we're going to go to overtime. I'm just going to take this down as well. Actually, no, I can leave that up. Why not? But Virginia can kick this off here. 22 seconds left. And let's see if Duke can do something insane. They're going to bring it back from the 1 yard line. And that is a terrible return. Brought back to the 13. So 18 seconds. 2 timeouts for Duke. I don't know how aggressive they can possibly get. But it was a 10-play, 96-yard drive for Virginia in minute 22 seconds. And ended in an 18-yard touchdown catch. So now the game tied at 20. 18 seconds for Duke. And they're going to take a knee, and we're going to go to overtime. So we'll head to overtime in the ACC title game. (20-20) at the end of regulation in the ACC championship game. I'm also going to end this poll now that I realize the game's actually over. Alright, but we head to overtime in the ACC title game. If you guys are just wondering, or just joining the stream and wondering what's happening, because obviously I know the thumbnail is wrong, it still shows Indiana and Ohio State. But just staying on and watching the end of the ACC title game. So that is the plan. But we'll wait for them to come back from commercial as we go to overtime. Hold on 1 second. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. We go to overtime in the ACC championship game. Obviously, if Virginia wins, they're in the college football playoff. If Duke wins, James Madison is in the college football playoff. And this is actually insane how Virginia's just able to do this like every single game. Like Virginia's just constantly playing close games. This year, Virginia, they beat Coastal Carolina's pretty bad. Okay, they beat them by a lot. They lost to NC State by 4. They beat, is that William and Mary? I don't even know what that is. I think that's William and Mary. They beat them 55-16. Then they blew out Stanford. But then they get into the close games. They beat Florida State in double overtime. They beat Virginia in They beat Louisville by 3 in overtime. They beat Washington State by 2. North Carolina by 1 in overtime. They beat Cal by 10. They lost to Wake Forest by 7. Then they beat Duke pretty convincingly. Then they beat Virginia Tech by 20 last week. And now here they are in an overtime game against Duke. We go to overtime. Obviously, overtime, you start from the 25 for the first 2 overtimes. Then the third overtime and beyond, you go to 2-point conversions. You score a touchdown in the second overtime, you got to go for 2. First overtime, you can kick the extra point. Virginia looking to become the first team to win 4 overtime games in a season. Obviously, they've already beaten Florida State, Louisville, and North Carolina. All in overtime. So Duke gets the ball first in overtime. So obviously Virginia won the toss and elected to play defense first, which is obviously what you want. So you know what you have to do. So from the 25-yard line, Mensah in shotgun with the back to his right. They bring a tight end in motion. And Duke going to hand it off here on the first play of overtime. And a good run, getting about 10, maybe 11 yards. And a first down for Duke. Really good run. Nate Shepard on the carry right there. Number 20 for Duke. I don't really know either team that well. I know each team's quarterback, and that's about it. But a 1st and 10 from the 14. Or actually the 15. Mensah in shotgun. Going to back to his right. Another handoff. Shepard here up the middle. And another good run. Gain about 5, maybe 6 yards. And a very solid first down pickup right there for Duke. So it's 2nd and 4. Nate Shepard for Duke has run it 20 times for 90 yards and a touchdown. That's 4.5 yards a carry. So Mensah in shotgun, back to his right. They bring the tight end in motion again. Play clock winding down here. Mensah, another handoff. Shepard up the middle. Has a first down, fighting towards the goal line. He's down at the 2. So that sets Duke up 1st and goal from inside the 5-yard line. So they get the ball on the 1.5-yard line. Obviously, Virginia gets the ball next. So we got Mensah in shotgun, a back to his right. Mensah hands it off straight ahead and did not get there. Taken down pretty much at the line of scrimmage. Brings up 2nd and goal. So it's a 2nd and goal for Duke. All run plays so far for Duke in overtime. Mensah in shotgun. This time we'll look to throw. Rolls right. Mensah on the run. Is going to throw it. That pass caught. Did he get a foot down? No. It's incomplete. I thought he was just going to throw this away, but able to... Yeah, he's out of bounds. Alright, but let's see what Duke decides to go with here. It's 3rd and goal. And you also don't know how aggressive they want to be on 4th down, if they get there. Because obviously if you kick a field goal, then all Virginia needs is a touchdown to win. But if you come empty on a 4th down, then if Virginia only needs a field goal. They're going to run it straight ahead here, and he is stuffed once again. So we'll bring up 4th and goal Duke cannot get the ball into the end zone. So let's see how aggressive they get. I mean, if you're Duke, you've got no chance at the playoff anyway. You've got nothing to lose. Why not go for it? I mean, Virginia, for Virginia, they have to at least be careful because they have a playoff spot on the line. Duke is not going to make the playoff. So 4th and goal. Mensah in shotgun, back to his right. Mensah. Design roll to his right. Mensah looking, getting pressure, throwing, end zone, caught! Touchdown, Duke! The gamble pays off, and Duke converts on 4th down, and they score in overtime. Oh, wait a minute, we got a flag down, though. So let's see this. Oh, it's going to be roughing the passer. So it's roughing the passer. So the roughing the passer penalty, the 15-yard penalty is going to be forced. Let's see, where is this enforced? So it's going to be enforced at the start of the Virginia drive. So instead of starting at the 25, they'll be starting at the 40. And that is huge. So now here's Duke to add the extra point and put him up by 7. And it's good. So Duke, oh, that guy was wide open. When he puts his hands up and says, "Yo, I'm wide open," and Mensah's able to find him in the end zone. But let's see what the Virginia offense can do. Obviously, they're now starting their own 40 after the penalty. They also just went on an insane drive, 96 yards in minute 22. But they're starting their own 40 after the penalty. They'll toss it right side, throw back to Morris. Morris wants to go deep, throws downfield. It's intercepted! Picked off, and Duke wins the ACC. James Madison's going to the college football playoff. Wow, the first play, Morris gets picked off. And Duke wins the ACC. And James Madison is going to the college football playoff. Wow, Virginia tries a trick play, and Morris throws a pick. They are going to review it. I'm not sure for what. To see if this is a catch. Let's see, got the ball. Yeah, that's a catch. Yeah, that is for sure a catch. In fact, I don't even know if the guy's ever let go of the ball. He's still holding it. But Duke is going to beat Virginia. And James Madison will go to the college football playoff. That is insane. Hold on 1 second. One second. But, man, wow. Duke upsets Virginia. They win the ACC. Indiana upsets Ohio State. They win the Big Ten. Man. Talk about chaos. So what's going to be rankings? Thank you for the stream. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. What a crazy day of football. Yeah, sure was. But as far as rankings go, we're going to have Indiana. I would put Ohio State 2. I would not put Georgia. I would not put Texas Tech. Ohio State 2. Georgia 3. Texas Tech 4. Then 5 would stay... What was Oregon 5? Yeah, Oregon was 5. Ole Miss would stay 6. A&M 7. Oklahoma 8. 9 I would go Notre Dame. 10 would be Miami. 11 Tulane. 12 James Madison. That is a crazy bracket. Now, I bet when they came up with this playoff format, they did not think they would have 2 group of 5s get in and have a power conference champion miss out on the playoff. That is crazy. But I'm going to be live streaming my reactions to all the playoffs, just like I was doing the games tonight. But, yeah, I'll be live tomorrow for the college football playoff rankings, probably about 12 p.m. Eastern time. That is when the rankings come out. But I mean, they're going to talk for probably like 5 minutes before they actually release the rankings, so I'll do the same thing. And we'll break them down together. I'll give you my live reactions to everything. But that's going to do it for this stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, be sure to like the stream, subscribe, turn notifications. I do my best to put as often as possible. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night. And I will see you in the next video.